Hi, this is Sarah Aubrey, and I am here to do the Is Executive Coaching Right for You webinar today. I know a few of you may have been on earlier. We had an audio problem, and we're back now. I do believe the audio is working, so if you had to log off, we will be sending this out to you. But thanks for joining us today, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you for just a few minutes about this new program I'm offering, executive coaching directly for individuals and professionals. I've been doing coaching for quite a while, a B2B, so to speak, where companies would hire me to work directly with one of their executives, or a corporate executive would hire me to work with him or her. Today, I'm beginning to offer packages where we are going to have these programs available to you as individuals. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you. But the most important thing for today is for you to understand what is executive coaching, how does it work now, and learn a little bit about this kind of a process to see if I or someone else as a coach is a good fit for you. So let's dig into the material. First, I'd like to quickly cover what we're actually going to talk about today. I've got 5 points. First, I'm going to define executive coaching and give you some examples of what that actually is and how it works. And with that, I'll also talk about how I believe executive coaching achieves change. I also have a process that I've been using, and I'll share this with you to give you an idea of a structure and how, if you have an executive coach, it would work. You know, what is the deliverable, so to speak, and how does that process work over a period of time? That's always a big question. I have a handful of areas that I especially enjoy supporting professionals in working, so I'll cover those for you. And then if you are interested in just getting some ideas about what packages look like, what the pricing looks like, I'm kind of having some transparency here with you today, and especially for the summer, kind of a summer special, I'm offering some packages at a price that will be a better pricing point this summer, and it will be going up in September. So you may want to think about that and take advantage. But let's get into some more about the coaching process. First of all, a little bit about myself. I know some of you that are on the webinar. I know we've known each other for a while, and I welcome you back. I've got 2 degrees. My bachelor's is from the U of I in Illinois, and my master's in communications is from Purdue. I've been an entrepreneur for a long time, since '03, and I've actually founded and sold 2 other companies. One was a grant writing company, and the other was a meat business. And that's an area that I especially enjoy working with either entrepreneurs who are wanting to up-level or change or add new employees or look at their business differently, or a really favorite area for me is an area with executives who are looking to maybe leave that professional position and start their own company, but they're not quite sure how to take the leap. I enjoy writing as well. I'm the author of 5 books, 3 business books, and 2 novels. And speaking is something that I enjoy too. I'm a member of the National Speakers Association and travel all over the place speaking and doing a lot of training. Forbes Coaches Council also keeps me busy writing some blogs for Forbes.com, as well as AgWeb, Farm Journal's AgWeb. And I've just started a column with Top Producer magazines called The Farm CEO Coach. First issue of that is going to be out in August, so you may want to check it out, and always enjoy working with those folks. So let's talk about executive coaching. Well, I have a definition for you that I'm going to walk you through here in a second, but I want to begin with something related to the stigma of executive coaching. People, I think, in the past, and I've had this question asked to me many times, would say things like, well, I think my career is going okay. I don't think I need a coach right now because I'm not in trouble or something like that. People often felt like if they had to get coached or they got their company hired a coach for them, that it was something that was a penalty. And that's definitely not the case. So executive coaching is one of those things that now I think has a lot of prestige attached to it, and it's something that you would want to do if you're really wanting to up-level or change your career. Let's go into my definition, though. Executive coaching is confidential, first and foremost, so you work one-on-one with your coach. Now, if someone else hires that coach for you, you may still have some reporting to do back to them, but the conversations and the exact content of those conversations, at least in my case, are always confidential. You also may have other people involved. We'll talk about that later, how you can have other professionals or peers or employees or something involved in the process. But again, your one-on-one time with your coach should always be confidential. I call it facilitated discussion because it is a conversation, but we're going to always have a lot of structure. There'll be an agenda. We'll have certain things we want to cover, and that's part of the coaching process, is helping you move things forward rather than just talking about them. And the other piece of the definition is that executive coaching will give you valuable, honest feedback. The coach is not your friend. It doesn't mean that you don't want to work with someone that you don't like. In fact, you should definitely find someone you feel is a person you could enjoy their personality and you like their style, and maybe you'd hang out with them on another occasion. However, the coach isn't there to make you like them or to make you necessarily just delighted and happy with everything they say. Coaches are supportive and they're encouraging, but they should be direct, and they should provide you feedback that is something that you either need to hear or want to talk through that may be difficult. And that's part of the process, because oftentimes, especially if you're a leader in your industry, you can't get honest feedback from people when you directly ask them, how am I doing? They may be afraid to provide it to you. They may respect you and not want to hurt your feelings. A coach is here to help you see those things in a different way that you may not be able to get when you're just, looking around with the people you know or things like that. Okay, executive coaching is also really here for decision-making support. This is an important piece to the definition, I think, because coaching is not just talking. This isn't counseling, and we will, cover that as well. But it's really about moving the needle. I work with executives and professionals in business. So in my case, I'm not here for that life coaching or to get you through a relationship problem. Those, your life and relationships are certainly part of all that you do. But really, we're here to help you uplevel your business, make changes in your career, and take action. So that's a very important piece. I call my coaching practice performance-based because I want to set metrics that are appropriate for the coachee and work through them and help you just really break through barriers. So it's all about decision-making. The last important piece of the definition of executive coaching is accountability. This is probably the biggest reason to hire a coach. I mean, there's multiple ones, but I could make the case that this is the most important. It's because we as executives are busy. We're pulled in a lot of directions. We have things we want to accomplish, but it's very difficult to let them slide with day-to-day priorities and day-to-day obligations. Accountability to keep you on the calls, doing your assignments, making decisions, taking actions, and having someone that you're paying to help you with that can really be the piece that takes you from a person with a lot of good ideas you haven't implemented to the next level executive that you've always wanted to be. Okay, so how can you, when using a coach, achieve change? I've got, I think, 5 or 6 tips here in the next handful of slides that I feel like are the things that I've seen that we do. They're sort of like methods, I guess, in this process that can really help you achieve change. And not all of these have to be used by every coach, but these are the ones that I like. Share them with you now. I like to start with a coachee by identifying the strengths and leveraging the strengths that person has. So sometimes when we get to the point where we're really ready to make a change, we can be confounded with decisions or confounded with options, and really understanding what our core strengths are rather than working to fix our weaknesses. That's not the approach that I take. Is a way to then think about, okay, I've got this strength. How could I use that better to really get where I want to go? The other way that coaching can help, and I talked about this a little bit in the feedback section, is to expose your blind spots, which can be the barriers that you have to change. This one's really, really important. A lot of times if we've achieved a certain amount of success, we're pretty confident, and I think that's exceptional. However, everybody has a blind spot. We all have areas that we can't see, things that we're doing that are holding us back. And coaching can really work to help you find those and identify them and figure out how to bust through those problems. Okay, coaching's here to set goals. I talked about that before and take action. We're not here just to chat. If you want to do that, have a gripe session and a cocktail with your girlfriends or a beer with the guys, because that's conversation. Coaching is about setting milestones and meeting them. And another really interesting thing that I think executive coaching can do for professionals is to give them another set of eyes to look at their situation. And that could be their current job, where their business is, the goals that they have, some ideas that they've been milling around. We all have dated assumptions. I was just reading in the book Life Storming by Goldsmith and Weiss recently, and the authors, I think it was Alan Weiss who wrote this in the particular area of that book, and he had said, we can get, this is paraphrasing obviously, but we can get really dated in our thinking. And we have to change that. We have to be able to take a look and be self-reflective to assume that sometimes what we think is not really where we are. And he points out that I think he said, I'm always amazed at how stupid I was 2 weeks ago. So I think that's funny, but it's also really true. What you thought about yourself 10 years ago or who you thought you were, we're not the same. And coaching can give you the chance and the space to really look at those assumptions and kind of go, oh, that's not what I want to do. And I'm actually in a different place now. So it's sort of like updating your wardrobe. We don't want to keep the same outfits for 10 years and our assumptions, we need to move on from those too. Okay, we've talked about this one before, but accountability for decisions and unbiased feedback is really another piece of the coaching process. All right, so I'd like to share with you now my process that I use, the steps that I take, because a big question I typically get, and was one of the major reasons to do this webinar and to put that out there for everybody to take a look at, is people maybe get the idea that they're going to work with a coach, they're going to talk to them, they're going to have somebody to hold them accountable. Some of that stuff's fairly intuitive or common or assumed perhaps, but most of the time people are confused about what are the deliverables? I mean, what would the arrangement look like? And that is a very legitimate question. Most of this stuff can be flexible. However, I think to give you an idea of what a coaching process would look like from a day-to-day set of actions is really important. And I will do that now. So my moniker is, are you ready to act like a pro? ACT being an acronym for my business, Aubrey Coaching and Training, but it's really appropriate, I think, to the coaching process because we're here to take actions. So here's the 7 steps that I will typically go through with a client in order to get them through the coaching process. And this can be whether we do a short 3-month, super intensive, work through a big problem or tackle a big idea and move it from start to finish, or whether we go through a long engagement of 9 months to a year. These steps still really fit. So I think you could apply them to about any coach that you work with. They may have some different ones, but I found that these are usually there. So the first step in determining whether we're going to work together is a discovery questionnaire or a call. That kind of depends on the situation. We have a questionnaire that'll be on our website and also available. It's my first step with people to send that out to them, and you can answer the questions as honestly as you can, and then we really try to look at that to determine whether next steps are appropriate. Not every person is a fit for every coach. I mean, we've certainly talked about that. I have specialties that I feel like I can offer and some things that I can't. So I really want to know a little bit more about the person, what their goals are before we would even really move forward, because you want to have a coach that you think is going to be in the area of expertise that's good for you. And I want to be able to work with people who are ready to change and motivated, because we don't provide motivation. That's something that you bring to the game yourself. We're here to help you encourage and all that. But there's really certain questions that I've put together, like I said, to make sure that there's a fit and that the person who's a coachee is ready. So that's a good place to start. Then it also provides me a lot of information that I can use to begin the conversation and help very quickly. Step 2, we need to determine the engagement length. How long do you want to work together? And there are good cases to be made for every length of engagement. For example, a 90-day package is a great entry place if you've never used an executive coach before. It's also obviously a lower investment, so that may be appropriate for your wallet. But it also can be great for people who are really wanting to intensively work on a certain set of problems or ideas. For example, if you've got a new product you want to launch, or you've got a big promotion that you're preparing for, or you really want to work through something and then be on a completely different place in 3 months ready to make a different change, the 90-day type engagement can be really appropriate no matter how much you want to spend or how many times you've had an executive coach. I've used that option after having done a year-long program. I also then did to really move the needle forward on a specific project, I went with a 90-day option with one of the executive coaches that I've used in the past. And I can tell you that can be a great way. Now, we also have, 6 months, 9 months, a year. So there's a lot of things to consider there. And the budget is definitely important, but it's not the first place to start. The issues that you want to work through and the amount of time that you want to dedicate are 2 important questions to ask first. So engagement type is also important. I'm going to show you a couple of examples of types of engagements that I do, there are packages that I put together. Again, there's some flexibility for customization, but these are some that I think could work for a variety of individuals. But basically, you can have, in terms of type, there's really just a handful of things. It can be in person, it can be on the phone or video, or you can kind of do a lot of that over email. And I'm going to give you some more examples of that here in a few minutes, or a combination. Step 4, I will have pre-work for my coachee to do that will be a much more expansive questionnaire from that kind of discovery questionnaire, and we'll probably do some kind of assessment. I like StrengthsFinder. I also can use a couple of others. Shapes assessment is one that I'm beginning to use with people from a personality standpoint, but I really enjoy doing those kind of tools to give you that base where you can leverage your strengths. Step 5, we'll start the calls and the meetings. We'll first of all review those assessments. We'll really dig in and talk about the goals that you want to accomplish, and I'll push you to set some that can be changed later, but we're not going to get started without an end point in mind. Then step 6 is really where we begin our ongoing work. So again, is this 3 months? Is it 6? Is it a year? Does it include an intensive day? A variety of things. But we'll begin that, and I will have assignments and feedback, and we'll have the regularity of the call. So that's sort of the meat part of the coaching process. And then as we wind that down, we're not just going to kick you out and leave you without a plan. The objective is to get to implementation. What changes did you start? What changes did you implement? We'll also do a post-assessment that you can do just about yourself, or you can include others in that process to take that assessment to see where you've really changed. So I've got a few more things to share on this, but these are at least the components of what the process includes. Okay, now I have things that I really especially enjoy doing that are based on, or partly on what I like, I suppose, but also on my own experience that I bring to the game. And I'd like to share those with you now, because every coach is going to have should have some basic skills and background in the industry, obviously, but we all are going to bring different specialties, just as you do as a professional. Again, I mentioned before that performance-based is the key. I am here to help you move something forward, not just chat. So we will set metrics and milestones, and hopefully we blast through those and have to set some new ones. Although sometimes we'll have to backtrack and reconnoiter the plan, and that's okay. Performance is the goal. What that is unique to you. But this slide here shows a couple of things that I particularly enjoy working with professionals on. So speaking and presentation skills is one that I enjoy. So this can be whether you want to be a professional speaker, or whether in your job you're finding that you're needing to do more speaking and you're not comfortable doing so. That's an area that I like working with. Younger professionals are also great for this if they haven't had a lot of speaking or presentations that they've done in the past. This is one that is great for people either new to a position or just new to having to present a lot and have that kind of thing in their career. Related to this, but not exactly the same, is personal presence and confidence building. I often find that uncomfortable speakers can sometimes lack confidence in just other kinds of areas of the business. That's not always the case, but it can be. This isn't maybe for the entire coaching package, but it's an area I often work with people, is how I really get out of the space that they're in where they're lacking confidence to go out and accomplish what it is they truly want. And there's some steps we can take to work through that. Networking and creating powerful connections is another area that I really enjoy. In business today, we can't just move the needle through LinkedIn. We still have to make connections that are both beneficial to us as well as to others. And that can also be related to that confidence building. Another area that I really like, I mentioned at the beginning of our call today, is launching a business, particularly consulting, freelancing, or some kind of a services-based business. I've also had a bricks and mortar business as well. But my sweet spot is probably that consulting or services company or some sort of direct sales. So I really enjoy helping people get from an idea to an actual business. So that can include strategy and some business plan working, things like that. Other things that we can do to customize the coaching are a 360 survey and assessment. If you don't know what that is, a 360 is basically we create a survey about you. And there's different companies that offer these off the shelf, or I create my own a lot of the time. And this goes out to others in your kind of 360-degree purview. It could go to your family if that's appropriate, particularly if you're in a family business or like a farm operation. That's a common one. Employees, friends and peers, possibly clients, all kinds of folks, and they're going to, it can be both enlightening and painful. They're going to answer these questions about the things that we're working on, whether it's skill set, your style, your attitude, your performance at work, how you work with other people. We can focus on whatever you need to, but that is what a 360 assessment is, and we get that back and we read over them. And I usually tell people that maybe sit down and get a glass of wine before they go through it and take a deep breath, because there'll be some great feedback, and sometimes it can hurt, but it usually is really beneficial. And I've done this before too. I gave it to clients and contractors, and I was able to make some really positive changes based upon, again, the blind spots I had that the 360 uncovered. Personality and strengths assessments I talked about already. And another area that we do to customize coaching is to add employee or peer interviews in feedback. So sometimes, especially with people who are company owners, I will interview their employees and just ask questions about the organization and whatever they want to work on. And that will be one-on-one. I will do that without the coachee there, but then I will share that back with you, and we can really talk about what's going on. So that can lead to some big decisions. It can lead to areas where you need to add a new person, fire a person, or really help a person through a time of growth. So that can be very helpful. Another way to customize your coaching process is to add an intensive focus. And I'll show you a little bit more about this at the end of our webinar today. But an intensive is basically, just like the slide says, leave the office behind and work on yourself for the day. This is a time for you to get out of your office. I do not do intensives at the home or office of the coachee, for the reason that you're so much better off to be somewhere else and take that time for yourself. We can work on about anything that you want to. I do half day or full day intensives, and you can also do that with a group. So if it's you and your brother and your partners in your business, you're thinking of starting one together, you may split the cost and do that intensive day together. Just have a full strategy day, a brainstorming day, a goal setting day, really look at, or the time to really sit back and dig through maybe it was the employee interviews or the 360 and make the decisions about what you're going to change and how you're going to implement them, put timelines together. So an intensive day is just that. It's going to be tough and it's going to be long, and it's also meant to really supplement the work that we do on a slow, consistent basis over the phone or email or video. So you might want to consider adding that. I have a couple of those built into a package, as well as ways to add that optionally. I hold my intensives here in Indianapolis, near where I live. I'm a member of the Skyline Club, which is it's a lovely private club, and you will have a beautiful lunch or breakfast depending on the time of day that you come, and we'll have nice snacks and beverages, and we have private rooms, and so it's really comfortable. It's very nice, and it's also very private. Okay, so as I promised, I will tell you a little bit about my packages. So this is what I'm doing right now, and there's two reasons for me to share this with you. One, I want you to understand what coaching packages could look like. Other coaches will do it different, that's fine, but this gives you at least an idea, if you've never hired an executive coach, about how it works, what's included, and just a general, idea of why you might choose one set of the engagement type versus another. I also put the pricing in here, and the reason for that is twofold. Some people would say you're popping that out there on the web, and I think it's important to do it. First of all, I want you to understand what the investment is, because if an investment is surprisingly expensive or surprisingly inexpensive to you, it's important for you to know that before you go into it. And it really helps you decide, okay, so this is the kind of cost that's involved, and if I want to make a $30,000, extra raise or make some more money this year, and a coaching package is $2,500 or $3,000, is 10% investment up front too much for that? For a lot of you might say, no, it's not. Maybe that makes sense, the way to look at that. So I do have 3 different packages I want to offer you today, and just to give you an idea of what's included. And again, like I said, the pricing to help you understand what is both the time commitment and financial investment. And these are important in your decision-making process, because when you're ready to up-level your game, you're going to have to invest something. You don't have to have an executive coach at all. but you might take a different training. You might go back to school. You might have to take out a loan to, build a company. You may have to sell off some things so that you can afford to go work for yourself. There's always an investment when you're ready to get to the next level. This is one option. So let me go over these for you. Package A, short-term package. This is a 90-day engagement package. I say here that it's ideal for those working through a roadblock or a barrier to change that they want fairly quick movement on, or plotting out a basic path to a new career, maybe a product launch, or just really strategizing on how to move forward a new business model. So this is the kind of the fast action package. In the engagement type box over here, this would be online, phone, and email. And by online, I mean that could be video calls, and I'm pretty flexible on the platform on those. So that could be, Google Hangouts, Skype, other platforms are available as well, or just conference calls. And then obviously I will do a lot of back and forth with you via email for assessments and feedback. So this package will include a pre-work assignment, which we talked about a little bit, the assessment tool to really help identify your strengths. In the short-term package, we're going to work together a lot. So this is really important for you to know the time commitment that you need to put in it. But that's why it's only 90 days. We're going to talk at least twice a month. Then we'll have weekly email assignments for you, and you'll have an implementation plan. I like to do a little email support afterwards too. So the coaching program will, theoretically end unless you upgrade to add more or, add an intensive or something. But I allow you to, on your time, email me for 60 days after that, just to keep if you just keep wanting to talk to somebody over email, I'm happy to do that, because sometimes it's hard to just quit at the end, even if you've got a plan. So if you get going and the next month afterwards and you have some questions about how things are moving forward, definitely email and we can have some conversation around that. So the pricing for this is going to be $2,500, which is through August 30th. So again, summer special here, really trying to offer you a chance to get to the next level. I always say that September is now the new January. I've noticed this probably in the last 4 or 5 years, that it seems like everyone's really ready to do something when I don't know if it's the kids go back to school, that summer casual feeling is going away after Labor Day. But I get fairly busy in the fall and definitely in the winter. So if you want to get a jump on that time, that's why I'm offering these special prices now, so that you can take advantage and begin the process. Let's look at the other packages I have for you today. So package B, I call this a midterm business success package. People that this could work for are often mid-career professionals, and I consider myself that now too, I suppose, what maybe are struggling with the path to your very next level, or you're just having difficulty moving through a roadblock that may be preventing the change that you want. That could be a decision. It could be where do you want to go with your career. I find that a lot of people somewhere between 35 and 50 have had a lot of experience and maybe have achieved a lot of success. But start asking questions. Why am I here? What is my job really? What I want it to be? For the next 15 years, I really want to do X, Y, and Z. But am I putting together, my day to actually do that? Maybe I really want to start a business with my expertise that I have now and take that on the road. So this is a time that I think that takes a little bit more to work through. It doesn't mean that you want to see different, see change in a month, but I feel like some of those big decisions where you don't have something that you're ready to work on right now and you know that you want to do it, like I said, the short-term package can often help with that. This is where you've got some things that you really want to work around with. And so here's what I include that. This is a 6-month package. Again, engagement is online, phone, and email. We will still have the same kinds of things. So pre-work, but we will do 2 different assessment tools, and often that could include your 360, perhaps with up to 3 or 4 people. We'll talk once a month here. Now you're probably saying, wait a second, why would we only talk once a month? This package costs more and it's longer. Critical reason for that. I want you to do most of the work. And that 1 call per month is meant to be a lot more in depth. We may go an hour, we may go 90 minutes. So you're actually getting more time on the call. But you're still going to have weekly assignments, but these are bigger questions that you're looking to answer. These are bigger, opportunities that you want to pursue. So I feel like the once a month call gives you a time to really dig in and make progress in that month. We also have the implementation plan and support, and you can add a half-day intensive to this if you would like. This does not include that, but I definitely encourage at least a half-day intensive, and a full day is better with this plan. So that plan is a $5,000 package through, again, August 30th. It goes up to $6,500 after that. Okay, here's what I call the ultimate package, and it's the ultimate Act Like a Pro plan. This pretty much has everything in it, and this is for you. Here's the type of client that I think fits this. If you really want to completely rework your business model, completely revise your career path, totally launch a brand new business, and you want to dig in starting today, this is really deep personalized time. This is big life goal stuff here, and it's steady but ambitious. I include a full day intensive here. Now those intensives are going to be by themselves. I've got some special pricing on those for summer, but the full day intensives will go up to $5,000. So this is including that, and that is a full day just for you. You can also split it with someone else if you want to, but I always talk to people about that first before they do it to make sure that you're not detracting from you by bringing somebody else in. It can work. The idea, though, is spend a full day out of the office, no business, no family commitments, and we're going to work on a plan. Okay, we talked about this. It's a 9-month engagement. It's online, phone, email, and the day in person. You are welcome to split that full day into 2 half days, so that is fine too. And that may work. For some people, one big full day is the right approach, and I love the big day. I think that 7-hour day is really useful, but sometimes there's some cases to be made for giving you 2, kind of 3.5, that 9 to 8, 9 to noon, 9 to 1 kind of time frame. That's something that I would discuss with you if you really want to do it. But, that's an option, just kind of letting you know that. So we will have 1 or 2 calls a month, depending on the month and kind of what's going on. Again, that's flexible. Weekly assignments, as always. Goal setting, of course, is always part of this. We will do a 360-degree assessment as part of the package. That will be with up to 10 people, and that's a survey that we custom design that goes out to them. So there are going to be some questions in there that are appropriate for about everybody, but we'll custom design that around what you're going to do. For example, if you're really reworking your business model, we may want to ask a lot of questions about your product, your service, your expertise, how you work with people, and those are the type of questions we ask. If you're really wanting to revise your career path, we may be sending this out to your employee, your employer, some friends at work, clients, customers, and asking questions about, where do you need to really look at added expertise or new training, or are you easy to get along with or difficult, that kind of stuff. So we'll really dig in there. And of course, the full day in person is included in this price, which is a big value to this package. From a value standpoint, package C seems expensive, but if you're thinking about launching a brand new business model, again, what's the investment? So I'm charging $11,000 for this through August 30th, but it will go up to $13,000 after that. Okay, and so I'm just popping this slide up here lastly to show you where our intensive's at. This is the dining room, so we won't be doing the deep work in the dining room here of the Skyline Club. We have a private conference room there, but it's always nice to come out for an hour and enjoy the view of the circle and to have the really accommodating folks serve us a beautiful lunch. So this is where I do my intensive. Again, my people always say, well, why don't you just come out to my house? The answer is no, and it is for you that I do that. I want you to have a great and elegant experience where you're completely focused. And if your dog's coming in, your kids, your spouse, your employees, whatever it is, you're going to be distracted in a way that's just not going to get you where you need to go. And I want that intensive to be a special and, barrier-shattering day for you. So thanks a lot for listening to the webinar today. These things I think can at least give you a chance to understand what is executive coaching, how it can actually work, process for what the deliverables look like, what the engagements look like, at least in my case, and give you an idea of what executive coaching costs in terms of your time investment and your financial investment. So these packages are available through August 30th, and I would welcome you to stay connected with me. Here's my website, sarahbethaubrey.com. You've got my email on there as well as my phone. If you're interested in really looking into this, send us a note, there at the website, and we will send you that discovery questionnaire to see if we are a good fit and begin that discovery process. Besides that, I just really encourage you to act like a pro out there. The idea behind that statement is that you own the space that you really want to be in. Start making the decisions to get you where you want to go professionally. Make some new choices. Update some components of your business or your professional life, and really find the fun in what you're doing as an executive or in your business. So I welcome you to contact us at any time and go out there and act like a pro.